Good morning, how you doing? It's Phil Thatch, and I am on the gravel road that leads to the Summit Knobs Equestrian Trail, one of my favorite areas in Chattanooga for bird photography. And today I have brought the Sony 200-600 lens and the a6700 camera body, which is a nice combination for bird photography. It gives me 900 millimeters full frame equivalent focal length, so that's nice. And I came here today because I've been seeing Indigo Bunting, which I haven't made a photograph of yet this year. I've been seeing Indigo Bunting where I work. There's a kind of a brush area near there. And of course I don't do photography where I work. But my friend Robert Scott said he had seen one here on this road, which is where I normally get Indigo Bunting shots. So I came out here this morning specifically to look for Indigo Bunting. And as I make this video clip, I can hear them singing. And just before I made this video clip, I got my first shots of an Indigo Bunting kind of in that little bush right there and in the top of a pine tree over here. It's kind of bright sun today, so I got lucky and I started out with bad sun angle on the Indigo Bunting. Here comes a bird right here. It's a mockingbird. Anyway, but then finally I got some good 1/1000th of a second shots with good sun angle and low ISO, everything just right. And I'll show you those right now. Here is the beautiful Indigo Bunting. This is 600 millimeters. All the settings will be up here at the top left. 600 millimeters, 1/1000th, wide open at 6.3 and 200 ISO. And this picture's okay, but I like this one a lot better. It's sharper and I think the pose is more pleasing. Same settings. Just really enjoyed seeing my first of season. Really not my first of season to see, but definitely my first of season to photograph Indigo Bunting there at the Summit Knobs Equestrian Trail. Whenever I see these white daisies along the sides of the road leading to the Summit Knobs Equestrian Trail, I always wonder if my sister's husband is the one who planted them, because he has planted some there in the past, and every year there are more and more of them. And the 200-600, while it's not a macro lens, you can make a beautiful flower photograph with it. And I like the water that you can see on the petals of this flower. This is 1/1000th and 1600 ISO at 600 millimeters. I just got a Prarie Warbler shot that I think it's going to be pretty good. I think the Indigo Bunting shot was better just from looking at it on the back of the camera. But the resolution of the screens on this camera, both the rear screen and the EVF, are really low. So a lot of times you'll look at the shots on the back of this camera and it doesn't look all that good, and then you get home and it's fantastic. So that's something to contend with the a6700. But let's take a look at the Prarie Warbler shot from here at the Summit Knobs Equestrian Trail. I ended up being happier with the Prarie Warbler photos than I thought I was going to be. This one's 1/1000th and 3200 ISO. And this one is 1/1000th at 125 ISO. This one's kind of in the shadows a little bit, and this one was not. And also, here's another one, and this one's singing. It got a little leaf blocking the bird in the foreground that I'm not thrilled with. But otherwise, I'm pretty happy with these Prarie Warbler photographs. This spot has proven to be fantastic that I just arrived at a few minutes ago. The first bird I found here was a summer tanager. It was singing as I pulled up and stopped right here, and it took a while for it to brave its way to the edge of the tree line here, but it did come out. And also, look at this right here. This is a mulberry tree. And they're huge mulberries, probably 2 inches long on this mulberry tree, which is really cool. And let's see, what else did I see here? I saw a yellow-breasted chat, made a few photographs of that. Carolina wren, but I don't think I got a good shot of that, but that's okay, I can get those back home. And then I also got the little white-eyed Vero, which all three of those were first of season for me. As a matter of fact, so was the Indigo Bunting earlier in this video. The only bird that I've photographed today that wasn't first of season was the Prarie Warbler. I got it a few weeks ago. But anyway, let's look at the photos I got from this area right here with my trusty 200-600 lens and a6700 camera body. Turns out I did get a photograph of the Carolina wren. Not a great one, but I love to see their characteristic tail that sticks straight up, as many wrens do. This one's 600 millimeters, 1/320th, and 2500 ISO. I was so happy to see these summer tanagers. Almost every year for the last few years, I've gotten photographs of them, and it's always been in this exact same location
or virtually always. So here's my first shot. This one is 1/320th, 600 millimeters f6.3 at 1000 ISO. This is probably my favorite one, this pose where we see the beautiful back of the bird and we see all the feathers, but it's also giving us a good head angle even though the bird's facing away from us. That's pretty good. Same settings. Here's another one on that same perch, but now it's turned around. 800 ISO for this one, otherwise the same settings. And here's another one, same perch. Actually, I think the third and fourth pictures are on a slightly different perch. Very similar, but not exactly the same. This one's also 800 ISO. Here's another one on that same perch as the third and fourth picture, and it's also 800 ISO. This is 100%. These photos are cropped to a little bit bigger than 4K, but not a lot bigger than 4K. And this is a completely different perch. Still the same settings, 1/320th f6.3, ISO 800, 600 millimeters. I like this more mature looking perch with the young, fresh green colors in the background. That's pretty nice. Look at this beautiful yellow-breasted chat. Really like how this photo turned out, even though a lot of the bird is blocked. The most important parts of the bird are clearly visible, and I like the pose. This one is 1/320th, 600 millimeters wide open at 6.3 and only 200 ISO. One of my favorite birds to photograph, the white-eyed Vero. I just love those eyes, obviously. You know, one of the things I like to concentrate on is, can I see this area of a bird's eye? Can I separate it from the pupil in a photograph? And no bird is better for that than the white-eyed Vero. This is 1/640th, ISO 1250, 600 millimeters. And here's another one with the same settings, I believe, on the same perch. Yes, the same perch. Just great. You know, I see these birds and I lock them in and then I make as many pictures as I can before they fly off. So there's one and there's two. Here's another one on the same perch, same settings. I love this one, looking right at us, and you can see the tip of the beak is completely out of focus. The camera focused on the eyes instead of the closest thing, which is what you would want it to do. And I really, really love the way this one turned out. And here is another one on that same perch, same settings. So I managed to get 4 so far. Let's see, is there another one? Nope. This is another yellow-breasted chat in a slightly different location. And it's blocked quite a bit by these pine needles, but I don't care. Once again, the most important part is clearly visible. I like the warm tones of this. It's just a really cool shot, and I'm very happy with it. This one is 1/640th and ISO 160. I am using automatic ISO. I usually start out with 0 or minus 1/3 of a stop, and then I'll dial the exposure in with exposure compensation from there. While I was at the gravel road leading to the Summit Knobs Equestrian Trail, I ran into Forrest, who was working with a Canon R7 and the 800 f11, and Stan, who was working with a Canon R5, the 100 to 500, and the 1.4 teleconverter. It's always cool to run into other photographers. If you see me out taking pictures, come up and say hello. I'm sure I will be happy to see you. After a nice chat with Stan and Forrest, I came down the road a little ways and I found a turtle crossing the gravel road. I made a shot of it at 600 millimeters and another shot of it at 200 millimeters because I could get close enough to fill the frame at 200 millimeters, and I'm not sure which one I'll like the best. Here's the turtle. It was the 200 millimeter shot that I picked, but I actually didn't zoom all the way to 200. As you can see, I'm at 202. This is 1/1000th, wide open at 5.6, ISO 160. Just a beautiful creature. And turtles are very photogenic, especially if you get down low. I actually set the tripod foot on the ground, and I used the flip screen, and because I didn't want to lay down on the ground and look in the EVF, so I just turned the flip screen up to where I could see what I was doing and focused on the turtle. And look at the depth of field. This gravel is completely out of focus, and then the gravel right where the turtle is, you could see it. And immediately behind the gravel where the turtle is standing, it goes out of focus again. Pretty happy with this crazy turtle photo, just right in the middle of the road on the gravel road that leads to the Summit Knobs Equestrian Trail. Recently, I reviewed this battery charger made by Lano, and it came with a couple of batteries, and today I used one of those Lano batteries in my camera. While I was out today, I made over 1,800 photographs. The camera performed as if I had a genuine Sony battery in it, and when I got done today, the battery still had 32% left. So I'm pretty pleased with these Llano batteries.
I had a really good time today and very much enjoyed using the Sony a6700 and the 200 to 600 lens. Man, that's a dynamite little combination. I love that lens. I tried to not like it a little bit because I struggled with some chromatic aberration kind of in the early days of me having the lens, but these days I don't notice it much in my shots, so I don't know what I'm doing different, but I'm not seeing it. And the sharpness is there, and the focus from the a6700 is well and good. So pretty good combination. And today was a pretty good day to be out. I enjoyed talking to Stan for a little while and talking to Forrest. That was cool. And getting some first of season birds is always fun. Today is, I think, May the 16th. I'm sure this video won't come out until June because I tend to stay a little bit ahead, but just to give you an idea of when I'm seeing these birds in the Chattanooga area, it's mid-May. So thanks for watching. If you like the content, reach down, hit the thumbs up button. That helps me out a bunch. And if you want to see some more, subscribe and hit the bell. I sure hope to see you in my next video. And bye-bye from the greater Chattanooga area in the state of Tennessee, USA.